Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to North Wales. Now, this first subject is a terrible example of what I wanted to talk about in today's video, which we'll get into, but I just have to shoot it because it is just phenomenal. So over the past few days and weeks, actually, there's been loads of rainfall here in North Wales, even more than usual. And I don't think these falls are usually here. So I have to take an image of it. I've got to make the most. I'm out today with my friend Ian Worth. You may be able to see off in the distance up the hill behind us there. And he's probably going to be taking a very similar photograph, but it is just stunning. It's quite a tricky one to frame up because there's barely any access. You know, you've got to jump fences and stuff if you want to get any closer to it, and I'm just not willing to do that. So I've got my zoom lens on, my 24-200. I've got myself in a perspective that I feel like is pretty decent composition wise, and I'm zoomed in at around about 135 millimeters, and I'm just creating a nice sort of square crop, I think, where we've got some of the autumn trees down the bottom left hand side of the photograph and the falls up in the top right. Now, technically speaking, it's a little bit tricky because I want a long exposure, the water, I want a long exposure effect for that. So I'm shooting that at 1/4 of a second. Then you can see my settings here. These are dialed in for a second exposure. So 1/200th of a second, which means I've got to bump up my ISO. That is because look at the trees. They're blowing around all over the place. It's so gusty. So I don't want the long exposure effect to affect those. So that needs to be a quick shutter speed, and then I will blend the two images together. So we've got long exposured water and a quick exposure for the trees to freeze the motion in them. Let's get into the topic of today's video. This is very much a subject or a scene and ultimately a photograph that presented itself to me. So myself and Ian were walking up this bank here and we look behind us and you can see, look at it, autumn trees, beautiful waterfall, old sort of quarry pool here in Norwich in North Wales, by the way. It's stunning, an old slate quarry, disused, absolutely stunning. But you can see all of the elements are there for me. I'm just turned up and they're all there. However, in landscape photography and photography in general, that doesn't always happen. And I honestly think this is one of the hardest things that I've had to learn in photography, but also one of the most rewarding on many different levels. And that's what I want to get into in today's video. The fact that photographs don't always present themselves to you, especially when you're not out in epic locations, you have got to find the photographs yourself. You've got to learn how to find them. And also, I think a lot of it is acceptance, accepting that you can't always get these big epic landscape photographs in most locations that we shoot. So there's got to be another way, right? And that's what I wanted to get into today, learning how to see, learning how to actually, I suppose, find photographs, and actually a completely different way of approaching photography. Rather than being reactive, like I was with that image, perfect example, it's the opposite, like I said, of what I wanted for today. I've reacted to something that was given to me. It's got to come from me. I've got to wander about and try and find photographs, read between the lines, maybe look beyond what is very obvious. And actually, this location is the perfect place for me to do that. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's grim. It is grim. The rain has come in pretty quickly and the wind. And myself and Ian have just come into this old, perhaps like an old place for accommodation, maybe. Obviously completely disused, but absolutely beautiful for photography. And let me show you this. This is what we sort of stumbled across. And this fits well, actually, with what I'm chatting about in this video. All I've got at the minute, the only idea is yellow tree. The tree looks lovely. Beautiful subject, but by no means is there a photograph. So my job now, and exactly what I'm talking about in this video, is how can I now make this into a photograph rather than just taking a straight shot of the tree. I want to create an image. And what I think is really interesting is, you can see obviously Ian's taken a shot there, completely different position to me. This is his idea. And I'm sort of backing up and, I mean, trying my best. Look at that, just getting this doorway in, something along those lines like that. Just trying something a little bit different, trying to think outside the box a little bit, I suppose. Exactly what I was saying before, you know, except from the tree, the subject, nothing's been presented to me here. I'm having to like work at the composition. And you know what? Not only can this improve your photographs, but it's just so much fun, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is what it's all about. Right, first things first, I'm gonna have to succumb to it. The waterproof jacket's coming out. The rain is not letting up. It's on and off. It's teasing me, and I'm giving up. I'm really happy with this shot, by the way. I'll talk you through my idea now. Oh, it's grim, it's tricky, but I'm absolutely loving this. And this is one thing that I really want to try and get across. Like I think I just said, this isn't this approach to photography of slowing down really and taking your time and just trying to find photographs, you know, trying to make them rather than waiting for them to come to you. It's not just about potentially getting better images, or almost certainly getting better images. It's about the enjoyment of the process as well. And this is fantastic. Two of us just wandering around, and yeah, all from the spark of just this one yellow tree. I feel like now I've created quite a decent composition with some nice elements and some good relationships between these elements. Now, the only sort of issue that I'm having with this image, the only decision that I'm not sure on just yet, is aspect ratio. I'm probably going to shoot it in a 3:2 and make the decision when I get home. I've been through all 4 of the aspect ratios, the square, the 4:5, the 16:9 and the 3:2, and they all look all right. So I'll make the decision when I get home. But yeah, in terms of the relationship, it's all about, yes, I could shoot the tree just straight on, and I think that'd be fine. I think that'd be great. I maybe even will. However, just incorporating this old doorway here, I think is lovely. It just adds to the story. It adds obviously another layer to the whole image as well, another dimension. And I just really like it. I like the way it looks. I'm struggling to explain it because it gives me some sort of emotion when I'm looking at the image. It looks really moody and dramatic, and then that splash of colour with the tree. What's going on? Like, what's the story with this old building? What are we even looking at here? It's almost like, even though I'm shooting at 24mm, it all feels very abstract. You know, there's a lot going on, but it feels abstract at the same time, if that makes sense. Maybe not abstract in a photographical sense, but abstract in the kind of story, the meaning behind the image. I might be blabbering a bit there, but I hope that makes sense. Technically, it's a little bit difficult just because I'm focus stuck in. We're so close to this doorway and this wall here, whereas the tree is still probably about, I don't know, 20 meters away from us. So I want to make sure everything is nice and sharp. Oh, you know what? It could be the curse of the old LCD screen on the back of the camera, which just makes a lot of things look good. Sometimes, maybe you agree. Sometimes I feel like it makes your images look good, but I feel like I'm quite happy with that one. Now, nice vantage point over here, which I don't think is going to be great because of the wind, but we'll go and see what it looks like. As we move on, I want to say another massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. So, if you've never heard of Squarespace, they are an all-in-one platform where you can build your own website, which is what I did. My own photography website is through Squarespace. It was through them before I was sponsored by them, and it's brilliant. Best thing about them for me is it is so easy. They've got loads of templates that professionals have made. They look really clean and polished. All you have to do is choose one of them templates, add some text and some images, and in a couple of hours, you'll have your own website up and running. It is genuinely that easy. And through Squarespace, it's like a drag and drop system, and there's loads of different features. So you can have a portfolio on there. You can have what's called an e-commerce package, which is what I use. So you can sell products. So if perhaps as a photographer you thought, or you've ever thought, maybe I'll try selling some prints, you can do that. That's what I do. I sell prints and ebooks, my calendars, all sorts on there. And yeah, it really is brilliant. So easy. And I wouldn't be able to run my business without it. And last but not least, Squarespace have got amazing customer service. So even though I've just explained it's very easy, you probably won't even need to use their customer service. It's brilliant if you do. It's award-winning. I've used them myself. They've got like a little live chat feature where you can get in touch. And I suppose, yeah, it just makes it that bit easier. So they come so highly recommended from me. I'm really proud to be associated with Squarespace. I'm proud of my Squarespace website. And if you'd like to give them a go, you can get yourself a 14-day free trial by scanning the QR code on the screen, by going to the link in the description, or heading over to squarespace.com/Henry Turner. So yeah, 14-day free trial, nothing to lose. You can have a go, see how you get on. If you like your free trial, be sure to use the offer code Henry Turner at checkout. That will get you a 10% discount off your first purchase, which is brilliant. And it also helps me out as well, because it tells Squarespace that I've sent you, and thus hopefully more sponsorships and stuff, which help to support the channel. So thank you to you lot for listening, and another massive thank you to Squarespace for continuing to support my YouTube channel. So myself and Ian, we actually went out yesterday as well, because we're running a photography tour here in North Wales over the next few days. And yeah, yesterday we went to the Ogwen Valley and it was fantastic. But I was applying really a very similar mindset really, because that's what it is to today, to what I'm talking about, where yes, where we went in the Ogwen Valley, there was big classic views, honeypot locations and all of that. But myself and Ian took some time to just scratch beneath the surface a little bit, which is what this is all about. Dig a little bit deeper, go beyond the obvious. Perhaps, you know, not just take what's presented for you. And it was so wholesome and rewarding just for doing a little bit more exploration. And yeah, I think I got a couple of nice photographs. I mean, I was only messing about really, but yeah, discovered a couple of extra really nice locations for the photography tour for the clients, which is fantastic. And like I said, yeah, I think a couple of decent images as well. And by the way, I just mentioned there about the fact that we're here running our North Wales photography tour, our autumn one. We've been having a little bit of a discussion whilst we're here, and I'm really excited to announce now that we're going to be running a 4-day photography tour in the spring of 2026, so not too long at all. So QR code up on the screen if you want to go and check that out. It would be fantastic to see some of you there, whether it's people that have been on some of our previous tours or new people, whatever. If you've got any questions, please get in touch with myself or Ian. But yeah, there'll also be a link in the video description below, or you can head over to Ian's website. The information will be there. We're extremely excited about that. We love this place. We love running the tours here. And like I said, it would be mint to see a few years there. We've come to a little bit of a lower section of Dinorwig. This is a huge old slate quarry. There is so much to explore. And we're down here now at Anglesey Barracks. Now, I have shot around this area before, and I've shot the barracks, but I've never been particularly happy with the images that I got in the past. I thought they were okay. However, I want to have another go at it. And it was coming actually to this location that inspired me to want to talk about the topic that we're talking about today, because I feel as if, I mean, especially on a day like today where it's, I don't know if you can tell with this video camera, but it's really flat and grey. It's very dark and dull. I was just saying to Ian, actually, it's still a couple of hours till sunset, but it almost feels like dusk already. It's grim without having the connotation of that being negative. Pretty grim. And it's just started raining. So I'm going to have a go at this. And going back to what I was saying before about the process, look at this. It's the process that is enjoyable. It's not just the idea of potentially getting a good image. It feels childlike, and ultimately it just feels fun. And that's why we want to go out with our cameras for the most part, isn't it? I say this all the time. I've said this recently. Of course we want good images. We always want good images, but we want to enjoy the process as well. And this location, it forces you into it, actually. It's one of those locations that forces you into having to look at things differently, having to really concentrate. It's like some sort of deep meditation. You're having to be on the ball. I mean, look at these little plants. You could create nice little square crops of those. The colour of the slate is just beautiful. Some of the sections further up where the quarrying, had actually happened. I mean, here, look, there's just trees, there's textures. It's fantastic. And yeah, it's just a really nice process to enjoy getting stuck in, getting stuck into photography and composition and trying to find images. Right, I'm going to clamber up this cliff just a little bit to try and get a perspective that I've got already and try and improve on the previous image. Oh, I'm finding this exceptionally hard on a couple of different levels, but I think we're getting there. So the composition, firstly, is difficult. It's tricky. And we've got these two beautiful trees here, which I think are working really well with the wide angle lens. And the one here on the left is obviously dead, but there's so much beautiful detail and texture in the trunk itself. And the tree on the right, this beautiful big oak tree, is covered in this luminous, vibrant moss. It's fantastic. And you know what? I don't know if I'm being blindly positive here, but I think the light's actually not bad. We've got this little bit of a glow going on. And it's almost sort of, the tree trunks are encompassing the barracks. It's almost like one big circle. Now, the second thing that I'm finding tricky is the settings. It's, like I mentioned before, it's just so dark. So already it's making it difficult. And the real problem is shutter speed. I need to freeze the motion of these vibrant oak leaves. And I mean, there's a particular branch that's leaning downwards above the barracks into the distant valley in the background. And it's lovely, yeah. So I've got a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second. But of course, then that makes the image even darker. On top of that, I need a shallow depth of field. So I've kind of got to shoot at f11. I can't really focus stack this image. So it makes it even darker still. So my only option is to put the ISO up to 6,400, which, you know what, is fine. Fortunately, I've got the Nikon Z7 today, the full frame sensor. I wouldn't be delighted pushing it up to 6,400 on my OM5. So yeah, that's one good thing. So technically difficult, compositionally difficult, but you know, that's the premise of today's video. I've enjoyed slowing down, trying to be as intentional as possible about everything that's fitting into that frame. I think it's going to be all right. Not sure about the image. I feel like it's going to have been an improvement on the first one that I got at this location, more than likely, but I feel like it's perhaps still not quite there. But, so fun to shoot. And a really enjoyable approach to photography today. For me, it takes some doing because I do react to the landscape a lot. And I feel like, you know, reacting in general, it creates these like, I don't know, like quick and familiar, and sometimes these sort of like copy and paste compositions. Whereas I guess slowing down makes you more intentional and, you know, ultimately perhaps getting more original photographs. And it's a lot calmer. Or it should be a lot calmer. Look, I think there's a time and a place for reacting to the landscape when the light's amazing, when the conditions are amazing. Sometimes all you can do is react. But give this a go, especially in this sort of location. When you're next out, be intentional, relax a little bit more and try and like find photographs rather than waiting for them to come to you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get off and find Ian. Speaking of which, our photography tour, please go and check it out. It's over on Ian's website. There'll be a link down below, or scan the QR code up on the screen there. Like I said, it'd be wonderful to have some of you along with us. 4 days of photography up here in North Wales. Fantastic. So yeah, thanks a lot for checking that out. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Please do comment down below. Love to hear from you all. And if you do have a quick second, please hit the thumbs up button. It proper helps me out. I think we'll be off down the pub now. Thanks a million for tuning in. See you on the next adventure. Out.